Most small businesses don't have £100,000 of an SEO budget. They've got about £1,000, £1,000, maybe less.
So the real question for a lot of local businesses isn't how to do everything possible with SEO. It is what tasks actually move the needle.
If you only had £1,000 to spend on SEO this year, where would you put it? Where should it go? Welcome back to the Marketing Podcast for Local Businesses, the show that gives you practical, proven marketing advice to help you grow your business right here in the UK. My name's Adam. I'm a best-selling Amazon published author, an AI enthusiast and founder of www.websitedesigners.london. We've helped businesses generate tens of millions of pounds online through smarter design and marketing.
My name's Josh. I'm the founder of ImproveMySearchRanking.com, a specialist SEO agency based in South London. We've worked with well over 500 companies now, possibly over 1,000 actually, generating in excess of £200 million in sales for our customers.
Brilliant. So the first segment, let's talk about the reality of local SEO budgets, right? Because ultimately, most small businesses, let's think about what you can actually spend on SEO, what budgets are like. And when you first start a business, ultimately, you don't have £100,000. Most businesses don't have £100,000 sitting in the pot for online marketing specifically for. So what are I guess you need the right tactics, right, Josh?
Yes. So I speak to probably 5 to 10 local business owners every week who are inquiring about SEO. And I would say 60%, 70% of those businesses are kind of almost brand new, and they only have a few £100s to spend on SEO on a monthly basis, which isn't a great deal. It's not going to go a long way. So you really need to be precise in what you do if you were to go ahead with SEO. I mean, at that price, probably that's something we can really help with. But if I was to advise them, I suppose today we're going to give what we would do ourselves. If we were to do it at our businesses, it'd be a lot more expensive. But if people want to do it themselves, we can focus in today on the tactics that people should be looking to invest in.
Absolutely. And we'll explain the difference between, trying to do a million things according to what you see on YouTube or Google and trying to really hack online rankings and appear first on Google, so SEO activity, versus the real impact you can make with a small number of things, taking a less of your time and those quick wins to really get you ranking higher for less money. Some tips that we're going to provide involve no money as well. Yes. So tune in and let's start this.
Cool. Should we start with keyword research?
Let's do it.
Cool. So in my opinion, keyword research is the kind of foundational, most important element of SEO. It's the first step. And if you do this wrong, actually everything you do thereafter is not going to be as effective or as efficient as possible. So one kind of idea to discuss, I suppose, is the concept of doing this research before you start. A lot of people rush into doing SEO. They might just go to ChatGPT and say, give me some keywords for my business. And then they copy those and I'll take that as gospel and think, okay, ChatGPT says we need to do this, that means we need to do that. But I see this more and more now because of the prevalence of AI, but people are just relying on ChatGPT to give them the keywords, but actually those keywords have no search volume. There's no data, there's no reason behind them other than ChatGPT thinks they're a good idea. Yeah, step one is to make sure you're doing some proper keyword research. There's lots of tools out there you can use for this. The free one is the Google Keyword Planner, which is going to show you exactly how many searches there are per month for every keyword that you want to target. So I would recommend, first and foremost, you need to consider looking at that. There are other tools out there. I don't know if you have anything to add on that.
Absolutely. I think being able to just use a free tool like Google Keyword Planner, you can literally search in your search engine, Google Keyword Planner. You do have to have a Google Ads account, but it's free to create. And literally, you just once you've created the account, on the left-hand side, you'll see an option that says Tools, and under Planning, Keyword Planner, click on it. In fact, what we can do is actually quickly share my screen, and you'll be able to see exactly what we're talking about here. So as you can see on screen, once you've logged in, Keyword Planner, and then you can discover new keywords. Type in, let's say, plumber, Beckenham, shower, and you can add a series of keywords, get results, see exactly what your search volume is. Average monthly searches for that is 0 to 10. But if you were to add plumber Beckenham without the additional word, you can see that there's significantly more search volumes right here on the bottom bit, 100,000, 100 to 1,000 keywords there. So look, that's a quick and easy way of being able to research the best keywords to target. It also showed you the level of competition there as well. And the final thing we'll leave you with in regards to the keywords research is there is a difference between what a business calls something versus what a customer searches in a search engine. For example, if you're a plumber even, not a plumber, are people searching boiler servicing, or are they searching boiler check? If you're a landscaper, are they searching garden design or garden makeover? So just think about, rather than the industry's terminology for various things, think about what your customers would be searching. For example, gluten-free birthday cake delivery near me, or gluten-free birthday cake Billericay, i.e. area name. So let's talk about the key types of keywords to identify, unless you've got anything else to add.
Yeah, so this kind of ties into this next point anyway, but I would just say brainstorm as many ideas as possible, chuck them all into that tool, and then just, obviously pick the ones that have demand and skip on the ones that don't. But yeah, moving on to the next point, which is the key types of keywords to identify, I suppose, in this whole kind of process, is you want to think about each of the services you offer, each of the locations you cover as the two fundamental things. And as you kind of just alluded to, was it cake maker, Billericay could be one keyword, but cake maker, Basildon, cake maker, Essex, cake maker, XYZ location. You want to check every single variation for every single keyword. So it might be croissant maker or pie maker. I mean, I don't think these keywords will have much
Rogue.
demand, to be honest with you. But yeah, so each service plus each location, check each of those. That's the most important thing you need to do, in my opinion, as a local business.
The top tip there. Fantastic. And you can also think about a problem-based search. So customers often search for the problem as opposed to the service. So if I've got my shower's leaking, a customer may not type in, and they may not link the fact that I'll need a plumber to fix my shower. So instead, they'll search for the problem. So it's shower leak. And then if you target that particular word or that problem, then again, you'll be able to, those are what we call in the industry high intent keywords, because there is a high intent, the user has a high amount of intent to solve their problem and therefore to need a service. Yeah, and look, you can create blog posts, support pages to help assist in that as well.
Awesome. So in terms of, we said if you only had £1,000 to spend on your SEO, how could you kind of split that up? You could, in my opinion, as I said earlier, the keyword research is actually the most important element of the whole process. So you could look to buy some software like Moz or Ahrefs, or you could use the Google Keyword Planner, which is free, or you could look to use an SEO consultant or an agency, and as a kind of one-off task, you could probably get that for £200 to £300, get some nice detailed keyword research.
Absolutely. The key takeaway here, if you get your keywords wrong, everything you build afterwards will just be wrong. You'll be spending time on creating blog posts, creating service pages on keywords that you're never going to rank for, never going to yield you results. You're going to waste your time. You might even waste your money. It depends on if you've spent money on things or on backlinks, etc. So make sure you get your keywords right. Next up are what we call technical foundations. This essentially is all about the things that you can do on your website to improve various factors that Google will look at in order to help you rank higher, but also to give a better, more user-friendly experience for the person visiting your website. And things that we're kind of thinking about here are how quick will a website load? How easy is it to use on a mobile? Is Google or Microsoft Bing or AI softwares, are they able to what we call index or crawl your website? I.e., can they see the number of pages, the content on your pages? Does it have something called schema markup? Do you have, essentially, can Google see that you've got a website and those specific pages? If not, you'll need to be able to fix that. Josh, anything else to add to there?
Not really, but yeah, just summarizing that, I suppose Google has to be able to see your website, has to be able to crawl it, has to be able to understand it before it can rank it. So you need to speak to your web developer to make sure that your site is crawlable, indexable, loads fast, and is user-friendly.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Take it away, Josh.
Moving on to the next segment here. So this is an issue I often see with business owners' websites is the lack of service pages. So when those 5 or 10 people come to speak to me every week about their SEO, one of the obvious problems they have is they just have one page on their website that outlines all their services. And that is a big no-no from an SEO standpoint. What you need is an individual page for each service. So Google can then crawl and index those pages and can understand more about what you do. So it's a very, very simple concept. If you're a baker, as we said earlier, as Adam likes to speak about every week, if you sell croissants, you want a croissant page. If you sell baguettes, you want a baguette page. Cakes, a cake page, etc., etc.
Yeah. And when you create those pages, think about the URL. You want that to be the URL essentially to also mention the keywords you're targeting. And throughout the page, you want to be able to make sure your heading, what you call your H1, your heading 1, is also using those 3 keywords or 2 keywords or however many keywords you're targeting for that particular page. There tends to be a checklist of things you need to do when you create these pages, whether that's a service page or a location page, in which we're going to talk about next, is if you were to go and type in, Yoast SEO checklist or something along those lines, or even use the Yoast plugin. It's a free plugin that you can use, and it gives you a kind of RAG rating, red, amber, green, depending on how well optimized your service or landing pages.
Yeah, I guess we should have touched on that slightly in the previous point, segment 3, about technical foundations. But yeah, make sure you got your optimized title tag, meta description, heading 1, image, file names, content as a kind of basic, and URL, as we kind of said. Cool. All right. So next is about the location pages. As with the service pages, you need to have a separate page for every location you wish to appear in Google or appear in AI in. If you don't, you have no chance of doing so. So if you're a plumber, and you're based in West London, you might want a page for plumber in Mayfair, in Chelsea, plumber in Kensington, etc., etc. And again, on these pages, we want to optimize title tag, meta description, and all the errors you spoke about. And final quick point is this should all be based on the keyword research we did at the start of the conversation. Did you find that in these locations there is demand? And if so, make a page. If there's no demand, then you could skip on doing those locations.
Absolutely. The next tip, Google Business Profile. It's free. Create a Google Business Profile. It used to be called Google My Business or GMB, but just type in the words Google Business Profile into your search engine. It's essentially a profile of your business, and you upload your logo. You can upload a few images. You can upload the services you provide and the costs, the fees for each service if you want to. A brief description of your service, the opening hours, your address, the phone number, and it really, really helps businesses rank locally, even without a strong website. It also allows you to appear on Google Maps, which again is super, super helpful, because if you think about it, whenever you search for a service, more often than not, Google will give you what they call a map pack. They will give you a series of businesses based on their Google Maps location as one of the first things that appear when you type in a specific service or search a series of keywords. So, for example, if you're searching for a plumber or a baker near you, you will see those Google Business Profiles show up as one of the first things. So make sure you have that set up.
Awesome. And then the next point builds upon that Google Business Profile. It's your review strategy. The quantity of reviews you have and the recency of reviews you have are 2 really, really important factors in your Google Business Profile appearing in Google Maps. And in turn, they also increase the quantity of conversions. If you have a lot of reviews, going to convince people that you're a good business, you've worked with a lot of people, and you're likely to give them a good service. So obviously, it's pretty obvious, I suppose. But yeah, the quantity of reviews you have, quality of the reviews, and the recency of the reviews is a super important element.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can even kind of give clients a bit of a reason to leave a review for you. Say 10% off your next order, or we'll give you 5% off your last installment, or 5% off your total bill if you leave us a 5-star review or something like that. Next, this is where we explain to you what we would not spend £1,000 on. So I'll go for the first one, which is online. if you were to Google backlinks, because obviously having other websites link to your website improves the authority of your website, and it's one of the main things that will help you rank higher on Google. So there are loads of businesses online that will offer a backlink service. What that means, essentially, you pay a certain amount of money, and then they say they'll provide a bunch of links to your website to help boost that authority. But online, there are many, many, many websites and businesses that offer something called black hat backlinks and also PBNs. Essentially, they are networks of, let's say, 100 websites that they have in their database that they just link to their customer's website. So you pay them 100 quid or £1,000 or £5,000, and they say they'll give you those links, but that could actually damage your website depending on the quality and the spam percentage and spam score of those that link to yours. That could damage your rankings, that could damage your website. So just be very careful about who you pay your backlinks for. Use a reputable company, or even better, there are 2 companies that can really help with SEO. Yeah, those are ours. So improvemysearchranking.com and websitedesigners.london, we both can help you. So just reach out to us, and we always make sure you get good quality links, so we can help you with everything that we've so far mentioned. What else would you not spend £1,000 on, Josh?
So next up would be using AI to generate hundreds or thousands of blog posts. I've seen, I'm not naming any names, a few clients think that they can do the SEO themselves nowadays because they have AI. And what they do is they go to ChatGPT and say, write me 50 blog posts that's good for SEO. And then they copy and paste, publish those all on their website in one day. And that's going to do you more harm than good. It's going to ruin what's called your crawl budget. There's no real strategy for those AI pages. I think people call it AI slop. There's no interlinking. There's no kind of strategy behind it. There's no benefit really at all with these kind of basic AI generated pages. I suppose most importantly, blog posts for a local business, they can of course be good. Are these blog posts going to help you generate more sales? Are they going to, is there any commercial intent, are these targeting high intent keywords? Are they targeting informational phrases? And if it's the latter, then how are these blogs actually going to benefit your business other than, just wasting your time?
Yeah, I agree with most of what you said. I am going to slightly talk about, there are a few occasions where I have seen, and to be fair, it's more of a, when you use AI to create blog posts and they've used it well. So it's more of a, it's not a only use AI, because I completely agree. You're not going to have internal links. You're just going to be regurgitating content that's already online that may be incorrect. So totally agree. I have seen some clients create hundreds, maybe 100 or 200 blog posts, and they've obviously put a bit more thought into it than just copy and paste. So what I would say as well is, yes, use AI, but don't solely rely on it. You need to put a little bit more thought into it, because otherwise you're just creating what Josh called AI slop. Now, one thing I will say, a quick tip, there's an acronym. Whenever you create a page, a blog post, it's called EEAT, so EAT: experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. It's essentially a framework from Google's search quality rater guidelines, which is used to evaluate how value add, how much quality there is in a piece of content. So just make sure you think about that. Does the content creator, does a piece of content have first-hand real-world experience, expertise? Does a creator, does a blog post have the necessary knowledge, credentials, qualifications? Authoritativeness, is it a recognized author and are they experts in their field? Trustworthiness, is the information accurate, safe, and transparent? Just quick tip for you there.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a good point. AI content can definitely rank and it can be effective, but it just needs to be done right. You can't just prompt ChatGPT, give me a blog post, and copy and paste. It's not going to work that way. Yeah.
Agreed.
Awesome. Should we move on to the 1K SEO flywheel?
Yeah. Before we do that, another thing I'm going to call out is, you don't need to pay hundreds and hundreds or even thousands of pounds for this flashy new SEO tool. There are some useful ones out there. Josh has already mentioned them early in the call. Go with those. But yes.
On that point, who was that? There was an AI company who does SEO. I can't remember what they're called, but one of our clients signed up to it and it wasn't expensive. It was very cheap. I think it was maybe £50 a month, and it just tanked all his rankings. So it automatically updated all his title tags, all his meta descriptions, all his headings. It all sounded great on paper, but it actually just did the complete opposite. So I would be careful not only about expensive SEO tools, but the cheap ones as well.
Yeah. Let's talk about the £1,000 SEO flywheel. Take it away, Josh.
Yeah, so if you only had £1,000 to spend, these are the kind of areas that we would recommend you look to invest that money in to start with. So first and foremost, the keyword research. That then plays into everything else you're going to do going forward. I suppose maybe one thing we haven't spoken about actually is investing in an SEO audit. I suppose we talked about some of the crawlability and indexing, but yeah, step one would be keyword research. Step two would be the audit. Step three, start making pages, so location pages, service pages, then build out your Google business profile and get more reviews. So that's a very basic thing that anybody could probably do for under £1,000 and set you up well for SEO going forward.
Amazing. Hopefully it'll get more visibility, more customers, more reviews, and stronger rankings. So look, if you strip away every SEO tactic except the ones that genuinely matter, you'll probably end up with the list that we highlighted.
Yeah, good keywords, clear pages, local relevance, and real customer reviews.
Thank you very much for listening. And if you've taken anything useful away from this, please leave us 5 stars. It really does help. And tell a friend and hit the follow button. Thank you.